Oh Lord, we're back. And oh Lord is correct indeed, because I'm here with Lord for the last match of this qualifier day. We've got a banger for the end. It's Dice Amplified against Basic. So happy to be here, back with you, back in the Casters booth here. And yeah, we've got quite a match for you.
Yeah, I'm really excited. This should honestly be a really competitive match, just like the one we got to watch last. And you know, I think there's plenty of surprises here, as well as things to expect from this series. Julian, tell me a little bit about this DICE roster.
Yeah, I mean, the DICE roster recently announced unbelievable amount of talent in there. We've got infected young player, 15 years old. He's definitely one of the biggest upcoming young talent in the Overwatch scene. I've heard his Reinhardt is hella good, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it on the stream here. We've got Aspen, absolutely amazing. She's been on Cloud9 content creator team, now going pro. This is her opportunity to make it big in NA contenders. Looking forward to seeing her as well. Moser, obviously, so much great talent on that DICE roster. And then on the other side, you've got to look at Bay State as well. They've had a unbelievably long day. They've played the collegiate major aside. They've played this matchup aside. They have probably been here longer than I have been, and that's something to accomplish. So definitely, well, let's look at the roster as well. They've got Abs coming over from the UK, doing collegiate in America now. They've got Infernal. He's been on Noble before. A lot of talent on both sides. It's going to be super interesting to see how how exhausting that day has been for both teams. I mean, after all, before we started, we're now 7 hours in, and this is going to be exhausting for both teams. Bay State even longer. They've done the collegiate aside, so there's nothing wrong with being tired now or having your late night genes kick in now. I'm looking forward to seeing either one of them. And yeah, this is definitely, it's a loaded match. It's a loaded match.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I don't know about you, Julian, but I get tired after 7 competitive games, much less 7 hours of competitive gaming. And you know, this kind of Overwatch gameplay, it's an entirely different tier from what you're going to see in your solo queue ranked experience. And what a pleasure to see it here in the booth happen firsthand, especially on a map like Nepal. Very excited to see this control map played.
Absolutely, and Nepal is going to kick us off here in this first 2 matchup. The last one of the qualifier, last seeds now up for grab here to qualify for the major, which will start off tomorrow. First round winners bracket, the first round losers bracket will be broadcasted tomorrow starting 10 p.m. EST. And we got right into the first map here, as this is, I think it's Sanctum. Probably not. I don't really know the map spot. Yeah, Bay State starting us off, Symmetra and Sombra, while DICE Gaming chooses Yash and the Symmetra. So we'll see the TP into the point early, and let's see how this first fight turns out.
Well, you know, we got to see Neb pop off in an earlier series this afternoon, thinking they still have the juice heading into this first fight. It's that total chaos comp against this kind of poke dive style that DICE is looking to accomplish things on for Bay State. It's just a matter of making sure that they have a little bit of space that they can operate in and plenty of angles to really find that disruption. It's going to be Elva finding some early damage here as the point is unlocking. Bay State accruing a little bit of progress in that endeavor, but the interest of DICE is not in seizing that objective, it's to capitalize on the team fight, and that's a great payoff. Abs and Ned both going down. Even if Bay State were to cap that first point, they wouldn't maintain control.
Absolutely. So DICE Gaming, DICE Amplified, they rebranded, I think, taking the first percentage points here on the first map of Nepal, and yeah, that Ash Tracer seems to work for them.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so much damage to fight through, and plenty of engagement tools as well. Infected and Horthic, as well as Cabe and Faded, are all going to be players to look at here in terms of making sure that the coordination, you know, in a Rhine-based composition, you look at your Rhine and Lucio. In these comps, you look at your Tracer and your Wrecking Ball, as well as a little bit of Sombra. Depresso, unfortunately, has to disengage, but they did find some good damage. A meaningful hack there opens up the fight here for Bay State to really take their presence on the objective. Kabe looking for that one clip onto Moser, who is caught out. Not going to sacrifice the Transcendence in the interest of living. I think they knew it was a lost fight.
Absolutely, and now the base has that point control. They've got a super flexible combination here because they've got the Sombra and the Tracer, and this just gives you the flexibility of playing on so many different angles. Like, you know where the enemy is coming from because you can cover all the potential angles where DICE Amplified might want to attack now, and you'll have the info you need in order to set up proper defense now.
Yeah, it's really important, actually. Depresso and the Sombra is some really essential scouting information. It's so crucial in these high-level matchups, and it's really going to dictate the way that Bay State engages. And they're all poised to capitalize on a potential EMP, but with Bomb being thrown onto the objective, it's a little wrench in the plans. However, the EMP is meaningful, connects onto 3, including Frosted, who is quickly dispatched out of the lineup for DICE Amplify. Now it's Cape looking to capitalize on more space created. It's I don't think that DICE Amplify really want to push their luck here, but Alpha wants that next Bob for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, and Alpha needs to charge that early. Rally comes up here, maybe an interesting spot. They're trying to collect the team here on the high ground as Bay State. They've got a comfortable position there to defend because they can just wait for DICE to drop down to this point because they're the ones who need to make the first move here.
Yeah, but they do have tools of the trade to respond to the first move made by DICE. They're actually going to find a capture of the objective, and now the retake strategy is in full effect with the rally as the Transcendence fades from Abs. So lots of damage being dealt onto Frost is going to be forced out of this position and eventually eliminated as well. Minefield on the objective makes the point a perilous position to play in here for DICE Amplify. They aren't going to be able to follow up.
Absolutely, and the major advantage that Sombra Tracer combination together with the D.Va and the ball has is that once you got control of a certain area, you can just push forward without being stopped. Because the Sombra and the Tracer, it's so flexible where the Ashe has to wait in the backline to get proper shots. You can just push the enemy, and you saw that on Frosted. He got taken down so fast that he had no chance of even reacting.
No chance whatsoever, and there's not really going to be much of a chance to react to the impending EMP from Depresso. They're already back online with it, and Aspen and Mozar are conveniently placed targets to connect that disablement onto. Cape still ends up going down here, but it's traded out for Elva. There's an EMP into the backlines, connects onto Mozar, but constant care from the backline only keeps them up for a little bit longer. Depresso looking for more hack uptime there onto Inferno, who does disrupt it. Things could go either way at this point, and both teams are going to sacrifice everything they've got in the interest of winning this fight. At least for DICE, that's the storyline here, because this is potential last fight territory. There's a self-destruct thrown over the wall, doesn't connect to anything. Infernal is going to get back in that mech, though, and is looking to wreak havoc upon the midline of DICE Amplify. A Bob on the objective is a compelling reason to not push that, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Bob doing the work which DICE Amplify needed here as they take control of the point again, 71% in their favor now. And now Bay State has to make a move here. They've got 2 ults ready. Let's see how they use the Minefield and the Tracer Bomb here.
Coming up on support ults as well in case the fight ends up dragging on long enough. That would be ideal here for Bay State. They do commit the Minefield there from Faded as well as the rally. Ooh, Cave found out on the off angle, had the Pulse Bomb ready, but the Transcendence has now been expended from Moser. It means that if there is a stick onto them, they won't be able to bail themselves out. However, Bay State so close to finding that recapture, and they succeed as well. 99% in the overtime. Wick is burning away. Abs procs the Transcendence to keep the D.Va in mech. Inferno will stay alive, at least for now. There's the EMP as well from Depresso. It hacks onto all of the members now approaching the objective, and Cabe is able to follow up. That's both supports gone for Bay State. It's only a matter of time until this round ends, but a nice stick from Horthak might bring it back here for DICE. It's a surge onto the objective for both sides. They have to maintain their presence here. Now it's Neb caught out in a corner and infected, and now a D-mech Frosted spinning to winning here on the point. Not going to be able to spin for long.
Okay, yeah, and this is going to be Bay State taking the first round on Nepal here, and I've just got an info from our tournament team that it is actually really DICE Gaming, basically. So DICE Amplified, DICE Gaming, however you want to call it, in the position they currently at, I don't want to be in, because they've dropped the first round on Nepal, and now it's their job to win the second one, because either way, they'll end up being behind in the series, because that will mean that Bay State would take Nepal, would take first point in this map.
Yeah, and you know, honestly, I'm not entirely sure how, you know, the tournament standings end up playing into this, but Bay State, who I think at this point, they're not really going to be able to cap or to get into that top 2 of the group stage. Taking a map or maybe a series off of Dice, that's a pretty big accomplishment. So we'll have to see if Bay State is able to keep up this aggression heading into Nepal Village. Now it's this Chaos Disruption comp up against a more traditional style rush composition. We got to see lots of the Vision Sombra. Now let's get a piece of Elva's Sombra. I'm sorry, Symmetra. Whew.
Yeah, and I mean, now Dice taking first control of this point here, with the TP quite flexible to maybe move somewhere else as soon as Bay State commits to this, but they'll just give up the point for free here. They say, yeah, Dice, take some points, you will probably need them. Quite confident move there from Bay State, but yeah, currently Dice Gaming in control of the point here, taken down Cape by Dice now. Let's see, they seem to remain in control.
Point control as well as a man advantage. That is definitely a luxury heading into Village. Already down a round, and well, it's there's an attempt to equalize there from Bay State. Lots of damage that Depresso is going to be able to dish out, but the tanks for Bay State are really struggling to find an opening to engage. And in the meantime, you're looking at the supports in the back line. They have to allocate their resources so specifically to make sure that everyone stays in the fight. There's Moser going down, however, no immortality field, no regen, but there is a sound barrier now for Bay State. Depresso is going to mirror the Lucio with the duplicate form, but they don't get the beat off. No, they're going to be taken out by Infected on the Reinhardt. Tons of brawl onto that flight DPS. Ultimately, Bay State will still cap.
Yeah, and like Dennis, they just snapped the finger and Dice Gaming back into spawn, and yeah, now the first percentage going in the favor of Bay State as they have control of the point here at the moment. And we see alt banks on both sides filling up. Bay State got 4 ults ready, and yeah, Dice Game a bit behind here, used some of them already. So let's see how this fight next turns out.
Oh, well, there's the minefield into the position that Dice is playing in, as well as tons of follow-up damage there too. The Amp Matrix from Moser just unable to be utilized as the fight ends really quickly for Bay State.
Yeah, another clean fight here. Bay State now got the momentum they need in this defense, because they can just, like, as soon as they rotate away from the point, they just decide on what pace they want to play this defense, and this gives them the huge advantage, because Dice Gaming, they have to make a move, they have to push in order to stop Bay State from getting percentages, and that's a really comfortable position for Bay State to be in.
Yeah, well, that's the thing about the comp for Dice as well, is that, that in order to get value, they all have to push in, as opposed to Bay State, who can, kind of poke and prod these alternate angles and really engage whenever they want. They're going to engage with a self-destruct after trading abs for Elva, and a shatter from Infected is going to be meaningful. Look at that, 2 shatter kills, and Frosted is going to help clean up.
Yeah, and this is the flip they need here now, because this will give them, even if they lose the point now, it will give Dice a chance to come back with 1, maybe even 2 fights. So they've got a comfortable lead now, going into almost last fight territory here maybe, but they're facing up against Bay State. They've got both DPS ults ready to go. Let's see how they will approach this fight. 81%, they're definitely going into last fight territory now.
Another minefield coming up very soon here for Faded as well, and it got value in one of those previous fights. There's a nice stun onto Neb, and they are gone. No more damage amplification available for Bay State. You do see the duplicate form employed by Depresso, looking for damage to accrue that Deadeye. Not going to be able to find it. Once again, taking out that duplicate form. There's the tactical visor on the point. Going to have to LOS that Amp Matrix, but does find the final blow onto Horthic, as well as a self-destruct thrown in by Frosted. Doesn't disrupt anything though. The approach from Bay State is strong. The retake from from Dice.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dice Gaming, they put 3 full ults into this, so the economy is now weak, although it's still stronger than the one from Bay State, because they've only got the Diva Bomb almost ready, and then they've got the Transcendence from Apps, which can definitely be a game changer here. So let's see how they pull off this last defense now, as we'll definitely go into last fight territory for Dice as well. They need to make the move here. They need that first pick with the Tracer Bomb here desperately. But no, Despresso! He takes down the Tracer of Dice. This could be the game changer they need. Let's see if they can make advantage of that. But in fact, that he takes down Depresso as a revenge for his fallen Tracer. Let's see how this plays out. Diva Bomb goes down, no pick though. But the Cassidy will end up dying eventually. And now, Infected with the Shatter might be able to turn this around and see Stick goes through. And this is a turning point. However, against all odds, Dice, they make this happen. They manage to cap the point. Tracer will try to touch again, will eventually fall off at some point though. And now, Dice Gaming, they take the second point here at Nepal.
This is cutting it really close, Julian. Honestly, too close for the comfort of Bay State, who felt in control over the latter half of that round, and as well for Dice Gaming, who really no expenses spared in the interest of retaking these objectives and engaging into these fights. And now there's an opportunity to shift a little bit in terms of strategy for Dice. They will be now mirroring, or I guess not even mirroring. They'll be opting for that disruption comp. Possibly. No, it's back to that poke dive.
Yeah, and not gonna lie, this third round, this split map is my most favorite one, because that's the one where I usually pull out the Lucio or I pull out the Roadhog, whatever role I'm playing. I just go for the boobs here, and I'm looking forward to seeing what impact the ball can make here. As we see almost mirror comms, Despresso again on the Zombie here, quite a confident pick for him, and Elva on the Ashe. Let's see who gives the advantage up here and moves into the point first.
Range versus those hacks, but I'll tell you this time, Infected is going to be a meaty target to connect onto with that hack ability for Depresso. Plenty of ultimate charge available for them as well. Point is going to unlock. You get Dice Gaming to capture a little bit of that progress, and currently Bay State, again, they're just in that position where they're waiting for an opportunity to engage. But with Cape going down, there might not be an opportunity here this fight. The poke phase is extended a little bit longer as the point is captured first by Dice.
Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes you need to take an opportunity, although it might not be optimal. And Bay State, they waited too long for this. In fact, they're taking down a target, and the advantage instantly flips to Dice Gaming as they take first percentage points here.
Yeah, that's some pretty meaningful progress here as well. Dice wants to win every fight in this round as possible, and take as much control of the objective as possible. Still waiting on to come up on a couple of ultimates, really for both sides here. So it's a continued kind of dry poke fight here, breaking out as Bay State again looks for the position where they can do something meaningful from. But Inferno's going to be slowed down a little bit with a dynamite. A nice coach gun is going to knock Faded out of the angle, and the wait continues.
Absolutely, and now Bay State, it's about time to make something happen. Both Transcendence come out here. Despresso needs to TP out of the fight, but that's a good bomb there. It doesn't really find any targets there, and the point control, it remains on the side of Dice Gaming, 50% now for them. Slowly but surely, Bay State needs to make something happen here.
Dice Gaming must have just been sitting on the other two rounds being like, yeah, we're just waiting to play Sanctum. They look so comfortable on this map. Just total control over these team fights, over the kills that are secured. For Bay State, it's a tough question. How do you break this hold?
Yeah, and Dice Gaming is doing an absolutely good, amazing job here. They're not overcommitting as soon as they've got control again. So they actually know how far they can push this. But they know that they mustn't go beyond a certain line, which would get them over pushed at some point. And now the DMP comes out. Despresso one clips Moser there on the Zombie. That's a nice engagement pick. I don't mind. Elva on the bob, taking down two targets though, and now the Tracer of Dice is doing the work which is needed. In fact, with the bombs, gets into the killing field as well. As now 99% overtime is ticking down, and it's going to be Dice Gaming taking Nepal here from Bay State. They looked so good on that first round, but Dice Gaming, they just came up back and totally rolled them on Sanctum.
Yeah, like I mentioned, Dice Gaming was like, it's all right, guys. We can drop map round 1. We can barely swing map 2, and that's all right. As long as we get to play Sanctum, run that poke dive, we're good. And that came to fruition exactly as they wanted. It was kind of funny for Bay State. You saw their Zenyatta try and approach the objective to get that touch. Just got bonked off right back into the high ground by Aspen.
It was like denied. Yeah, absolutely. And Dice Gaming, obviously, it's the last match of the day. They come off a 6-match win streak, so they're locked in the playoffs. And I don't think that, like, Bay State, they've got a chance here. They are currently 3-1. If they win their remaining matches, they're tied up with the baby clan, which would end having us go back into the tiebreakers, and this gives Bay State a chance for playoffs, but they have to win this matchup. And Dice Gaming has been looking really, really good on the last 2 rounds of Nepal, and yeah, as in the match before, it's do or die for Bay State now, and let's see if they can pull it off, just like Angels, to come back to win the second map, because they need to win it, otherwise no playoffs for them.
Yeah, we'll see what they want to do here. The next map type is going to be that escort game mode, and well, we've gotten to see a lot of different looks from teams on a couple of different maps at least. In our last series, Julian, we got to see Junkertown in action, and quite a few times today, actually. We've seen Havana. I wouldn't say, though, that on any particular escort map that either team is at an advantage or disadvantage because of the map. I just think that DICE looks strong, and at one point you have to approach, at every moment of the game, you want to be asking, how do I play as clean as possible? That might not be the question for Bay State heading into this next map. It might be, what are the smallest mistakes that DICE is making that we could potentially exploit?
Absolutely, and as you said before, we're actually going to Havana, so it's the map choice of Bay State. And Havana, of course, if we talk about Havana, you always got to consider this close holes, right? Brawling into brawling basically until the spawn doors hold you away from your enemy. And it's mostly about how long can I hold my enemy at 0-0-0 until he starts moving the payload. And if you manage to get that time bank to go low enough to have a fair shot at full holding, if you're by Bay State, you've got a fair chance at this. But you'll need to win that close hold if you're going for it.
What a fun era of Overwatch we get to be a part of, Julian. Back in 2017, 2018, when Orisa was being power crept, that close hold, another word for it would be a massive feed. But now it's a veritable strategy, and we have to see it employed really here by both sides to make sure that on a map where I don't personally anticipate any kind of inherent advantage or disadvantage, we'll have to see that close hold really used to buy these teams the advantage that they want, the edge that they're looking for.
Absolutely, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how Bay State decides to do their defense. We don't know yet whether they're going to attack or defend first, but if I would be Bay State, I'd go for the defense, because that will give me a clear shot at where I need to be on my attack round, and it gives me the confidence to really, really clearly see what I need to do in order to tie up this series. And it's the only goal they're currently having, because if they don't tie up, they'll lose their chance at the playoffs. And if I was Bay State, I wouldn't want to lose my chance at the playoffs. I'm sure they'll do anything in which they can in order to have as good attack as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. I've always personally preferred the momentum that I feel like I can accrue on a good attacking phase. You push all the way to the end with a couple of minutes remaining, or maybe not even. You're generally feeling just a little bit less stoppable. But on that note, Dice Gaming, there's a lot of reasons that they should. Don't fall asleep on me, Julian. There's a lot of reasons that they should feel unstoppable in this matchup. It's the end of a long journey of Overwatch this afternoon, and they're looking to continue that win streak. What better matchup could they possibly ask for? True,
yeah. And I mean, Dice Gaming got the shot at a perfect playoff here, right? A perfect qualifier. If they win this, they win 7 out of 7. The only other team at the moment who did that is Trust the Process in Group A, and Hot Lava in Group B has the opportunity for it. Let's see if they can pull it through. We don't know that yet, but that's definitely possible. But Dice Gaming, they've got the chance for it. Oh wait, and GeForce actually also won all the matches. So in all 4 groups, there has been a team who's been undefeated going into the playoffs. But Dice Gaming needs to keep that series going for Group C, because otherwise they'll let me down, and I don't want that. Yeah. So now Havana, we've talked about it. We'll probably see the close defense here, which would mean something like Reinhardt, May, Yeah, probably the McCree and of course the Baptiste, and we're seeing exactly that from Bay State in the attack. While Dice Gaming, they decide to not go with the close hold, and so that means that Dice Gaming will try the double sniper. That means they will hold at first corner.
Yeah, interesting. Dice is not opting for the close hold. It almost looks as if Bay State is prepped for it. Once they walk out, they'll see what the defensive formation looks like, and already you see dramatic changes in the lineup, going more to that sniper double shield comp. It was briefly on the Genji there. I would have loved to see it, but I won't complain about Widow game.
Yeah, so double, it's a mirror basically, of course. As Hanzo is getting in fact taking down apps here off Bay State, so that will delay the push off Bay State a bit here until the point where Dice Gaming has to drop from the first high ground. Sniper duel, of course, giving us a lot of opportunities to look at talents in the hit-scan section here, trying to take that duel between your enemy Widowmaker and Hanzo. So let's see, they are almost around the first corner now, so Dice Gaming now needs to either make a move into them or pull back a bit, but I see that, yeah, I can't really find the words on how that Sigma just got, yeah, well, push, let's just keep it friendly and say push back many times. But yeah, Bay State now keeping the upper hand in this duel and slowly but surely making their way to first point.
Yeah, and surely indeed they find that first point capture. It's going to be a delayed pick there onto the Sigma. Dice Gaming will yield that first objective with very surprisingly very little resistance there. And you've got a couple of support ults into this next fight for Bay State.
Absolutely, and we've been talking about momentum so much today, and again, right here, Bay State has that, and if Bay State can keep that momentum, that fast pace going, they've got a shot at a really, really fast attack here on Havana.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all about that momentum here in the series. The potential last one for the day, at least here. Well, definitely the last one here for Dice, and they want to regain a little bit control over this map. Definitely going to be easier to do so with the supercharger deployed, but you have to outplay the dragons in the amp matrix as well. Gravitic Flux is now online for Bay State. They'll be able to use it to solidify a fight win here in the distillery of Havana. But you know, Dice Gaming quickly loses that off tank. There's the Flux in action. The supercharger was deployed, but it doesn't yield to enough damage pushed into Bay State, who continue to get pick after pick. This cart might not stop rolling here through second.
Yeah, I mean, like, the pace Bay State is currently going is unbelievably fast. I've rarely seen attacks going to first and second point this fast on Havana attack, and Bay State, the way they're still using that double snipe on the second point, it's really unique, because usually the Widowmaker doesn't work too well on this middle section of the map, because you've got so many blocked angles by the big objectives in the middle of that part here. But it's just working for Bay State. They're rolling through this, and they've got almost 5 minutes on the clock here to go.
And that is an absolutely luxurious position to be in. I mentioned earlier, you know, capture all 3 points with a couple of minutes remaining. Hey, that's fantastic. You know, imagine capturing this third point without the cart even stopping. Would be a monumental success here for Bay State. Now, they're still having to wait on a couple of ultimates to come online, so there's not really going to be a great response to the Gravitic Flux besides oppressive amounts of damage from Faded to get Frosted out of that ult and buy Bay State Gaming more time in this fight as well. Infected ends up going down. That's only space here on the side of Bay State Gaming. Elva tries to make a hero play. Can't get away with it.
I was like, let's go in and get a rock into the face there. So now Bay State unstoppable, and let's face it, now that they're into that third section again, the Widowmaker is working again, and that's exactly what they need now, because they've got the Widowmaker advantage here, taking a lot of space away from the defense of Dice Gaming. They can go up to the high grounds, they can show their face in that middle section of that inner part of that castle, and it really limits the opportunities to approach this cart here. They just have to wait for Bay State to walk through the door, but it could even be too late, because the dice players are just falling like pieces in the wind, and I don't see any way to play this attack better than Bay State is currently doing.
No, I couldn't possibly imagine. And now the infrared sights are up to give an angle on the remaining members of DICE Gaming, desperately trying to reconnect to the objective and make a play, but there's no play to be made. Even with a Dragon Blade drawn from its sheath, there's a minefield on the objective. It's only going to slow down Bay State as opposed to stopping them entirely. It's a total onslaught, a bloodbath here on the objective as Forgotten helps to secure more final blows. They have to. Cabe has been eliminated, but at this point, that was an insignificant pick. Bay State with 307. That's pretty good for them.
Yeah, I've never witnessed a fast attack on this one. I'm totally honest with you. I have never seen 3 minutes on Havana attack. And the pace Bay State put in this attack is unbelievable. They lost, like they were slowed down at the first fight because they lost one of the players from a hit scan of the DICE Gaming defense. But that's basically the only time that card stopped, and that time is unbeatable. I doubt DICE Gaming, if they finish up, will be faster than Bay State.
I think it'd be, honestly, and I'm not putting DICE Gaming down at all. I couldn't imagine playing as well as these guys. But I honestly think that that's too much to expect from them on their attack. However, I absolutely do expect them to capture that third objective. This is the last match of the day. There's no reason to not be competitive at this point. They'll have to fight through a close hold here first from Bay State. And something I mentioned earlier, Julian, very briefly, was just, it's not about securing eliminations. It's about getting the right picks. And I think that that's how DICE has to approach this round.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see Bay State, they're doing this close hold defense we've been talking about. So they've got the May, they've got the McCree, and now their task is going to be how to hold DICE Gaming at 0 meters as long as possible to get them enough time. As we see the ball dropping down already, Mayblock being used here. Let's see how they can pull off this first defense.
Yeah, it's definitely Faded is going to get that plenty of that Rhine v Ball Diva experience. Really, all they can do is hold their shield, but hey, that's an angle for Forgotten to operate in. Still, losing 2 in this fight here for Bay State is pretty harrowing for their defense, and Moser getting crit hit after crit hit. This Zenyatta is insane here, helping to, that's just helping this fight win. That's so much engagement uptime there for Moser.
Yeah, absolutely. So the close hold did not really work for Bay State. However, though, still 50 seconds taken off the clock, and just now the card gets rolling for DICE Gaming. So at least that gives them about a minute save time, and they can now just easily walk into that second defensive fight here. And they've probably got even 2 more fights to defend this first point on Havana.
Yeah, and they're looking to purchase more fights as well if they can at least stabilize here. They have Forgotten's Deadeye to do so as well. It's not going to lock onto anyone. Almost gets that Echo. Does get frosted out of their mech as well. That's a lethal dose of damage for them. They're sent back to spawn as well as Elva. Even despite the Valkyrie from Aspen. This is a lost fight here for DICE.
Yeah, Frosted seems to have forgotten to hide from that Cassidy High Noon Day, which was by incident played by Forgotten off Bay State, so that was a fight one. But as soon as I said that, Bay State losing man after man, and DICE taking this fight right back into their favor. 2 minutes on the clock still for them, and they'll move on a step closer to this first checkpoint.
Shooting toes and breaking ankles. That's Moser's job in this formation here for DICE. And, honestly, Bay State, they resonated pretty well with the sentiment that I had just shared, that that was a fight win for them, and maybe got a little bit complacent there. Now they have to play that retake strategy, helped out by the Amplification Matrix and the Sound Barrier, which doesn't help Neb survive. A nuclear blast takes them down, and the duplicate is also expended here from Elva. There's no interest from DICE in losing this fight. Not able to build that duplicate shatter, though, so there's no Rhine here now for the attack, but there's plenty of picks.
Absolutely. So now DICE Gaming securing that first checkpoint, but still 2 minutes less, 1 minute less than Bay State had on their attack.
It's still a really A powerful start to Havana. It was Dice on at a total disadvantage, and especially on those first 2 points during their attack round. And now it's really up to them to set the pace of this match. They forced Bay State into a 6-man composition. I haven't seen this before on Havana, not on any point of the map. We'll see how well it works for second point. It's Forgotten not hesitating to take that 1v1 against Horlick, who does get thwarted out of that angle. They do have the Pulse Bomb, however. They're looking for a meaningful stick here, but there's a lot of mobility to operate around here for Bay State. Sticking that Pulse is going to be challenging. Ooh, and Moser strikes down Abs as Neb goes down as well. That's a little bit of an oversight there from Bay State, thinking that they might have the leniency to chase that kill. For now, it's going to be Dice picking up some meaningful elims and continuing their steamroll here.
Absolutely, and Moser, that man feels nothing than maybe his own and the other balls, because they make hell of damage to the enemy backline as he's giving all the important picks to Dice Gaming, which they need to move that card. But for now, Forgotten taking down the enemy Tracer, winning that duel there. Now maybe the chance for Bay State to keep that card at the current location and maybe delay that push of Dice Gaming for a bit.
Yeah, Transcendence isn't able to save Infected, but it does bail out Moser. And hey, that's all the damage that you really need. As well as Cape got eliminated there early. They're going to be reconnected now, especially with that mobility of the 6-man comp. This fight could go on forever. I think that we need to see Dice really reset and set up properly for their next engage.
Absolutely, because if that fight goes on forever, it's definitely in the favor of Bay State, because it will just take time off the clock without any major process for Dice Gaming. And now the card seems to be stuck a bit here as we pull a really aggressive coalescence there from Apps, but it seems to work for Bay State as they win another fight here against Dice Gaming. And now only 1.5 minutes remain on the clock, so 2 minutes 30 already burned in that second point defense here by Dice Gaming. They're doing an absolutely amazing job gatekeeping Dice Gaming from keeping the card going to this second checkpoint.
Yeah, gate kept and gaslit and everything here for Bay State, sitting on a whole slew of ultimates as well for the next fight. They're going to be able to weather the storm of the next engagement from Dice, despite the fact that, you know, Dice have a handful of powerful ultimates themselves. Will be coming up on the rally and the Transcendence here in a matter of time. It just depends on how long this next fight goes on. But like you had mentioned, Julian, the longer that goes on, the more at an advantage Bay State ends up being with that 6-man composition. They're sitting on an EMP as well, so if they say no playing the video game here, then you know, Cabe gets executive decision over this next fight here for Dice Gaming. There's the EMP, connects onto 3. Elva Unaffected cannot use their ultimates, and Frosted cannot use the defense matrix. Forgotten finds the stick on Aspen, and there's your explosive damage dealt by Bay State, effectively ending this fight.
Absolutely, and now only 30 seconds remain for Dice Gaming to do this attack to push this card into second checkpoint in order to gain more time again. But this is not looking good for them. They've got a couple of ults ready to go. In fact, they might even have all 6 for this next fight. Well, but Bay State, they're looking quite dry, but they wouldn't surprise me if they win this next fight. Taking an early attack here, so they need to make sure to shift that fight on to the point, but already first picks getting into the way of Dice Gaming as the as the Winston of Bay State is already getting taken down here. But on the other side here, the copy of Elva getting taken down, so no copy available for them. Let's see how they play out this overtime. They need to push this until they reach a checkpoint.
I mean, there's rally armor now on the point for the attackers, but Dice Gaming is testing their luck here with the overtime wick burning away. There's so much HP and sustain here to burn through as well, operating for Bay State. But still, you see Dice picking up picks. They have to sacrifice every ult in the bank, but it's worth it to win.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if Bay State has the opportunity to try to stall this out a bit longer here, as the card is not moving at the super highest pace possible. Bay State might even have a chance to recap this here.
That's a big pick. Aspen gets Kabe. Cabe had the EMP. There's the self-destruct. There's no EMP to connect with it, but it does get Moser. Moser, who's been a critical member of Dice Gaming so far in this round. Ults have to be used to compensate for their absence. It's going to be the minefield on the objective, clearing up a little bit of space to operate in, but Frost is not able to stay safe. A minefield is going to totally nullify Hammond's eggs there on the point, and the pulse bomb deployed onto the wall does get Elva. That's Bay State equalizing the series. Not an unexpected outcome, but definitely pretty big.
Yeah, absolutely, and game changer here definitely in the last fight. Infernal with the Diva Bomb taking down Moser. Well placed bomb in the backline of Dice Gaming, secures them, takes out the Zenyatta off Dice Gaming, which makes this an unequal fight at the very beginning already, and secures the win on this defense for base 8. I mean, they've made a unbelievable attack. We talked about it 3 minutes, haven't seen it till now. Tied up series, last matchup. Dice Gaming, base 8. Base 8 needs to win. Dice Gaming wants the perfect qualifier group. I've said it before, it couldn't get better than this, but I was wrong. It can get better. We get it twice in a row. It comes down to last map. Everything's on the line here for base 8.
Well, you know, one thing that I had honestly kind of flippantly said when we started this series, Julian, was, you know, this matchup is bound to be just as competitive as some of the other ones that we've seen today. And, well, I'm glad to say that for once I've been proven right here heading into yet another map 3 for us. Julian, it's late over there. You said the first word on stream today.
Yeah.
But there's got to be some level of exhilaration from you. I mean, this is so exciting.
It absolutely is, and it's about time that my late night vibes kick in here, and I'm getting that energy pump I need to cast this final up with you here, Lord. And oh Lord, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be honest with you. This is what it comes down to for base 8 and Dice Gaming. They are exhausted, same as base 8, same as I am. But yeah, we're going into the theme park, back to the theme park. I like to quote our duo, Ageless and Newbie from earlier. Blizzard World is definitely going to be a roller coaster of emotions for both teams in this theme park. And within that, I think that we're ready for this last map.
Yeah, I'm definitely ready. There's to know that there's just a little bit more Overwatch action ahead absolutely warms my heart. And you and I have talked a lot about different players today, and you know, we've seen a lot of different teams as well. We mentioned, you know, that these games, it's a test of endurance. So the end is in sight for everyone, but you know, just like the adrenaline is kicking in for you to give you that extra boost of energy, it's definitely kicking in for all of these teams. Base State, they seem to have awoken on Havana, identified those win conditions, secured the right eliminations, built the momentum that is so important to stay competitive in these series. You know, I'm no longer able to anticipate the outcome between these two teams.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going into last map, and there's no clear winner on this matchup. We'll just have to wait and see. And I'm so happy. I'm sitting first row with you here, and we're going to be the first ones to see who comes up ahead here, and bringing this action to everyone who's still watching. 110 views from what I can currently see. It is absolutely amazing how long everyone has been around here, especially production, who's been here all day. Solomon, our desk master of emotions, has been here from the first minute on, and he still is. And it's so cool to see how many people are involved into this, and the final product we're having here is absolutely amazing, and I'm looking forward to. I'm getting a smiley there from the production. Wonderful to see that the feedback is still going. And yeah, we said it before, last map, last chance for Bay State to get that ticket into the top 8, into the major playoffs here from the Questline Open, the potentially last major we'll ever see in Overwatch 1. And I've said that at the very beginning of this broadcast. How cool would that be to be like, hey, I won the last major which has ever been played in Overwatch 1. Like I said earlier, that's better than playing Owl. Like if I had the chance, like if Dallas Field were offered, I'd be like, well guys, no need. I won the last major ever been there. I've won a major in Overwatch 1 after Owl. The Owl is count, like Owl playoffs, the monthly playoffs, they count as majors. But I won a major after that. I'm at the same level as Owl, but I won a way cooler major. Because let's face it, Questline Open, unbelievable tournament. So much talent here, and I should really stop talking as we're getting into Blizzard World. I've said it, roller coaster of emotions. I'm absolutely looking forward to it. Yeah, looking forward to casting for you. as we'll go right into the map.
I really, really like Blizzard World. It's you know, it's no King's Row for sure. Definitely not as beloved as that hybrid map. But man, if there's one thing that Blizzard World is really good for, it's for fostering so many different compositions, so many different strengths. So I really couldn't ask for a better potential final map. Crossing my fingers we don't get a draw here. It's been a long day. And Bay State and Dice Gaming are in the same boat. But you know, I'm very excited to see not at last, because we've gotten to see everything on display from all of our contenders today, but I'm very excited to see all 12 of the players in this game really get to stand out.
Absolutely. You know what we call these maps in scrims? It's the whatever map, because you can play whatever you want to. Eventually, it will work out.
Yeah.
And however, still, both teams deciding to go with the same tank lineup and the same support lineup here. Again, though, Despresso now not on the Zomber, on the Ashe though. And Alva on the Ashe as well. So a mirror lineup here. Let's see who plays it out the better way.
We'll have to see. You know, we do have Depresso in for Bay State now instead of Forgotten. So definitely some big shoes to fill in terms of that hit scan role. But it's already netting a little bit of value. 30% to the Bob. That is pretty good here for Bay State. Starting first here on the defense, and again looking to just hold as long as they possibly can, whittle down that time bank, prevent any objective progress here from Dice, and that's going to be attained. An early pick onto Moser, first blood of this first fight. That's a good reason to not push too hard here. Definitely Dice wants to get whatever ultimate charge they can, though.
Absolutely, and however, despite from the fact that Bay State got that disadvantage in the first fight, actually the advantage, they weren't able to play it out, because although the team lost a man in the lineup, they were able to recover without losing anything.
Yeah,
and that just shows the pace of this match. Because if you have a faster pace, you can use that advantage and instantly go in. Did happen here, so lucky for them. As we see a couple of picks being traded here, nothing really happening though in terms of anyone aggressively pushing someone. Let's see double ball duel here. Stuck goes in. Oh, almost kills himself there. Cabe, lucky enough, gets the kill on Infected there. Ball taken down. This is again another push back here from Bay State, who are doing a good job defending this first objective till now.
Yeah, and you know, I mentioned Dice wants to accrue whatever ultimate generation they can in that prolonged kind of poke war, but Bay State is emulating that same energy there. They're coming up on a whole handful of ultimates. The response here from the defenders, I think, is going to be quite apt. Abs is just sitting on standby with the Transcendence. Moser just lagging a little bit behind, but you know, what else would you expect? They haven't had as much engagement uptime here in this fight. Things are going to start off with a great flux here from Infernal. Frosted as well had used theirs, and the Bob from Elva is getting quite a bit of value. Cape is already out of the lineup here. That's some of the damage gone, and not not quite the mirrored rally, but a timely one here from Bay State to help stabilize. It does force Moser to commit the Transcendence. Dice wants to stay in this fight and pick up any additional kills. They might have a hard time doing so, especially now that Elva is gone. Those Discord orbs from Abs are so precise and powerful as well. You do have a minefield on the objective here from Infected, but it's also mirrored there by Faded. The point is not a safe place to play here for either team, especially for Infernal, who ends up going down to Moser. There's Cave out of the lineup as well. Depresso 45 HP and a Dream here, but it's a fleeting one. Has to disengage from the objective. Maybe a little bit of progress yielded by Bay State. If they want to recontest, I think that they can.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see where they go for recontest here. Ball getting bumped away to Unbelievable drop there done by Aspen. A super good play there from her, as she makes sure that there's no chance for Faded to retouch that point. And now that Dice Gaming is on the roll here, they might be able to pull up some momentum here.
Yeah, that's definitely what they need. 3 minutes on second point Blizzard World. It really is not enough. They wanted to capture that objective just a little bit earlier, but at the very least, Dice has a handful of ultimates once again coming up online. Look at Frosted leading the lobby in terms of Gravitic Flux generation. The rock gets blocked by the giant crystal on the high ground, but still, it's the supports who get to shine here on Dice Gaming. I love to see it, being a Zen and Brig enjoyer myself. You'll see Dice really picking up that pace.
Absolutely, and now they've got that momentum going, and now especially they got the economy going, because they got to pull up like 2 or maybe even 3 ults that they'll be ready to go for next fight. They've got the Transcendence, which is an unbelievably important ult, especially in the hands of Moser, who's done an amazing job on that Zenyatta till now in this matchup. And yeah, we're going down to last fight before the second checkpoint, and yeah, let's see how Bayside wants to approach this defense.
Well, you know, the at least on the attacking side, Horthic had expended that pulse bomb. Neb still ends up. Oh, there's both supports actually gone for Bay State. The stabilization here on the objective, it's totally unattainable now for the defense. They're just going to have to bank ultimates and prepare for third point. Now, 3 minutes heading into third point on Blizzard World. That's definitely a lot more luxurious here for DICE.
Definitely, and Moser doing a great job here again. That shows how good that team communication is here as well, because his team sees the opportunity to push in here. He uses the Transcendence ult, and they can just run into the enemy. On that close damage, they do enough. They create enough space basically to freely get that second point, and that shows how well scrimming, like how well the communication in this team is going, and how often they must be scrimming in order to establish a communication at that level.
Yeah, you know, definitely, and at this point, you know, the comms are definitely critical as well. It's a nice gravitic flux from Infernal as well to start off this fight. The minefield was employed as well by Faded, who ends up going down, but, you know, worthy trades. You buy back a little bit of space. However, Asthma with a rally, looking to push forward. However, a pulse bomb sticks onto Cape. That's a little, I'm sorry, sticks from Cape onto Moser. A little unfortunate here for DICE Gaming. Despite the rally, they're not able to push in as aggressively as they'd like. Still not going to stop Horthic from chasing down their mirror matchup, and the Tracer is going to be infected, being taken out by Faded as well. Things are stabilizable here for the defense and winnable for the attack. Just depends on how these ults end up getting utilized. The stick from Horthic kills themselves. Unlucky.
Yeah, absolutely, and you see how Horthic is, however, despite from killing himself there, is doing a great job on this Tracer. He's just being everywhere. He's using the blinks in time when he needs them, and he's doing what a Tracer is supposed to do. He's in your backline, he's out of your backline, he's back in, he's back out, he's back in, he's back out. And that just makes it so hard for Bay State to establish a solid defense, because you never know where the next attack is coming from.
Yeah, oh, nice connections from Abs onto that rolling wrecking ball. Infected has to proc the adaptive shields, and I don't think has the warmth of the Mega to wrap around them for a re-engagement. You can see they're having to reconnect to the fight here in the presence of a Dynamite. However, Depresso, accruing that Bob ultimate charge, is going to throw it out onto the point before trying to coach gun the impending invaders off of this high ground, which wants to be utilized by Bay State here on their defense. Minefield as well, I think in response to the Transcendence, because as that 300 healing per second fades, it's going to make this objective a little less passable. Now it's DICE Gaming who's rotated into this little alcove, this hidden hallway. Did you know that this was on Blizzard World? Point 3 and Infernal. It's a perfect trap to set as well for follow-up on the Gravitic Flux. This is a fight win here for Bay State on their defense, and only 30 seconds remain in the time bank.
Yeah, thanks for asking. I did, in fact, not know that was there. Sorry for the first time just now. Yeah, but yeah, absolutely. He Infernally uses that fairly well, makes use of it with the Gravitic Flux there, and playing around the natural cover works fairly well on that point. But now, yeah, they need to touch if they can even get it to you. But yeah, Contest comes in there. So now last chance for DICE Gaming to make something happen here. They want that third point, but it's going to be a hard fight if they want to cap it.
That's a nice minefield onto the point. It does elicit the Transcendence out from Abs, and both sides are looking really healthy in the early fight here. However, Horthic and Cape traded out in the process. No team has their Tracer. The Wrecking Balls might have a harder time engaging, but not too hard. You know, the path to engage is quite clear onto the objective, and that's exactly where Ned and Depresso are. It's why they get caught out here. Neb is going to get staggered, and that is absolutely brutal here for Bay State on their defense.
Absolutely, and now DICE Gaming, they got the momentum now. Bay State, if they can't respond, they're going to come piece by piece, and if they even make it to the card, it's going to be super hard to keep it holding until your team comes.
Ooh, there's the bomb, though, to make things a little bit easier, and it is going to do lethal damage onto Infected Depresso. It was their parting gift, however, as they are dispatched by the Pulse Bomb, but that's okay. Bob is doing something. That's 3 picks for Depresso, well, for Bob's, Depresso's Bob there, and just like that, the point is evacuated by DICE Gaming. Whether they wanted to or not, they're sent back to spawn.
Absolutely. So now only 2 checkpoints here captured by DICE Gaming. However, still they pushed the payload quite far, and this is something really positive about this. This eliminates the chance for a tie.
Beast on my heart.
which means that there'll definitely be a winner on this map. But that it looks like they're only a few meters missing for DICE Gaming. But those last meters are so crucial if you're attacking. Because once that staggering from the defending team comes in, and the respawns just come in so super quick, because the way from respawn to card is so short, it's super hard to find a momentum in which you kill the full enemy team in order to push those last meters. That's exactly what DICE Gaming couldn't do in their attack, and now they're stuck at 108 meters and 10 centimeters, and this is exactly where Bay State now has to go.
I gotta say, if there's anything that I'm really impressed about from both of these teams here in this matchup, it's just the propensity to reduce that time bank as dramatically as we've seen both teams do. Whether it was there on Havana, whether it was the very harrowing fights on Nepal with the exclusion of Sanctum there, which was pretty good roll there from DICE. See what I did there. So really, it was Bay State's game to win here. It's their series to come out on top of with their ability to just continuously keep DICE Gaming at bay. We'll see if they're able to successfully do it here on their attack. It's not going to be so much preventing DICE Gaming from playing as much as making plays of their own. It's still going to favor DICE Gaming here as they they secure a couple of eliminations. However, Bay State striking back. It's that aggro support gameplay I mentioned earlier coming out from Abs, surging onto the objective and finding another elimination onto Horthic. A little unlucky there for DICE Gaming, looking weaker and weaker as the fight progresses until they'll ultimately yield the objective.
So and Bay State once again way faster than DICE Gaming on that first point here, taking the point 2 minutes earlier than DICE Gaming did in their attack, securing a 5 minutes 30 on their attack now, and that's a huge timing for them.
It ends up meaning that DICE opts out of this mirrored tank lineup as well. Frosted is back on that D.Va instead of the Sigma. They were not having a really fun time during their tenure as the astrophysicist, and now they're going to have a little bit of fun as the gamer mech pilot. Still, however, that's a little bit of a delay in that ult charge. The recall is forced out of Cape, who has to disengage. That is a nice step there for DICE, but they end up losing Moser in the process. Really, that's why we saw Havana go the way that it did, is because it's about getting the right picks at the right times. That's exactly what Bay State is doing.
Absolutely, and now as we see Bay State, they're just moving on meter by meter, unstoppable. It almost looks like already halfway through that second point. Now EMP in the backline is present, taking down Moser. He seems to have become some kind of priority target for them since his input has been so big on that team. It's just reasonable to target focus Moser here out of the backline. Bay State doing a good job doing the target focus they need here, and now picks just going the way of Bay State basically. Moser once again he got left in the air. He's got no chance to even walk out of spawn properly, and yeah, Bay State they take another quick point, and now 5 minutes 37 on the clock. I've said that it's going to be dangerous, but it's going to be hard to accomplish this 108 meters. But with that time bank, I might even change my mind.
I'm sorry, Julian. Just as a Zen main, I can't keep watching this. Moser's just not having fun right now. Although there they go, taking agency back into their own hands, striking down Depresso. They say that's for the solo EMP, you hack attacker. And now Bay State is going to look a little bit weaker. They want Depresso so that they have a target to engage on. Still have the Discord Orb available from Az, as well as both support ultimates online. There's no reason that Cart shouldn't move around the second quarter. Almost a really nice hack and boop combo there from Faded onto Infected. But a hack on the Mega means that Faded has a lot of space to play in. There's a minefield, however, still deployed on the objective by Dice. It's going to slow down Bay State's attack, but again, they still have those support ults online. They just need Abs to respawn here.
Absolutely, and now the first time really in this defense where Dice Gaming can maybe settle down a bit and be like, okay, this is where we are. Let's build up a defense here. But Abs already making yet another early pick here in the fight, opening the chances for Bay State. Bombs comes in, does nothing, and now Bay State committing here with the Transcendence. Abs pushing his team onto the card, but now Rally coming out here from the team of Bay State. This really gives them the chance to push even further beyond that card and really give some hard times to Dice Gaming.
Oh, that's a pretty good EMP there from Bay State as well. It connects onto both tanks for Dice, and despite hemorrhaging a couple of members for Bay State, it's Dice Gaming that's being bled out a little bit deeper. The cuts are meaningful. Lacerations onto the formation of Dice Gaming puts this point into the golden box of victory. So close, 1.09 meters away from victory here for Bay State. They're going to use the Gerdic Flux to make sure that they win this, and Elva is out of the lineup as well. The mech is gone, and things are all but winnable here for Bay State unless the ceiling caves in. It's winnable for them. Minefield on the objective is going to secure the break here, but it doesn't matter. Bay State takes the series.
Yeah, and Bay State remaining, staying in that race for a spot in the playoffs, beating the favorite of this group, beating Dice Gaming, denying the perfect series in this qualifier. Dice Gaming will end up having 6 wins and 1 loss in Group C. So not the perfect qualifier for them. However, still, they are secured a spot in the playoffs as far as I'm concerned. But just think about it. They might not even be. Because if the Baby Clan remains at second spot and at Bay State pulls through those wins, we've got 3 teams which are at 6-1. That could give us a hard time figuring out who moves into the playoffs. So Dice Amplified, Dice Gaming, they felt safe, but now that I'm looking at the group, they should fear Bay State, and they learned how hard Bay State can be to beat as an enemy just now as they lose to them 1-2, and whether Bay State makes it into the playoffs or not, we will find that out tomorrow. First round of the winners bracket happening tomorrow. Loser round 1 happening tomorrow as well. We're really looking forward to the broadcast tomorrow. First match starts at 10 a.m. EST. I don't think we need to stress this any longer. I mean, it's been an absolute pleasure casting with you, Lord. I'm looking forward to doing it again. For this first day, thank you very much to anyone who's watched this. Be sure to follow the action on the Twitter accounts of the tournament, Questline Open. You can also look the results up on Wikipedia when you need to. Be sure to tune in tomorrow again. For now, thank you very much to the production. Thank you very much to all the teams participating. And if there's nothing more from your side, I think we're about done for today.
We are done, Julian. It's been an absolute blast getting to watch these teams firsthand. Some of these players making a debut for me. I haven't gotten to see everyone in action so far. I'm so glad that I could be part of the action.
Absolutely, and I promised it before. I've said the first word on this broadcast. I'm going to say the last one for today. Thank you very much for everyone who tuned in, and be sure to tune in tomorrow again to watch the playoffs kicking off 10 a.m. in the morning EST times. This channel again, Questline Open on Twitch. Thank you very much. Good night to everyone. See you tomorrow. Have a good one.